2 days ago, I listened to someone's story
Story time.
that really got to me, and that was what inspired me to make today's video. And I know you want to hear this story. Calm down, relax.
Okay, relax.
So the girl shared she got caught up in a relationship, and she figured out, or she found out, that her happiness was actually coming from the guy. So she thought. Now they had a friction, and when that happened, she expected the guy to reach out, but the guy was so, cool with it. He didn't bother, and she was having the zeal, the urge to call the guy, but she was suppressing it. And then she couldn't take it anymore. She had to place a call across. And when she called the guy, she was like, "Are you okay that we are not talking?" After the call, she had to sit back, processed everything, and then she was like, really, happiness was not really coming from the guy. And what did she do afterwards? She started looking for a way to love herself. She discovered what we are going to talk about today, which is self-love. And I believe by the end of today's video, you'll be able to understand one or two things. And I'm not going to be doing it alone. I'm here with a few of our guests, and they're going to introduce themselves. So sit tight, get a bottle of drink, because it's about to go down. Guys, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll start from my right. So we have a young man there, the only man in our midst. Okay.
I'm Joe, sir. You can call me Joe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Lillian. I'm Peace.
Okay, my name is Deborah. My friends call me Baby.
Okay, I believe by the end of today's video, it will help us know how to love ourselves, prioritize ourselves, and everything that have to do with self-love. So I have a few questions here, and we are all going to share our ideas, and help our audience that was watching this video. So the first one is, what is self-love? What is self-love? And I don't know who wants to go first.
Ladies first.
Oh, you don't know when we were
Ladies first.
Okay.
Ladies
Okay.
first.
Okay. Who has a very perfect definition for it? I think this is
Just what you think about.
okay. Self-love to me is accepting yourself fully,
Okay.
accepting who you are,
Okay.
knowing your worth, not minding people's opinion about you,
Okay.
forgiving yourself anytime you mess up.
Wow.
You don't take time. You don't have to beat yourself up for too long before you forgive yourself. And you always find happiness within yourself.
Okay.
To me,
Nice one. So in summary, you're saying that self-love to you means knowing your worth and forgiving yourself
and always
as
being
all.
happy.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Importantly.
Let me do my own.
Okay. Okay.
Love,
Yeah.
it's a deep affection for something,
Okay.
someone. So when we actually correlate it with self-love, when you love yourself, when you show care to yourself, let me stop there. That is what we mean generally at self-love.
Okay. So in summary, you're saying when you care about yourself, that's
Beautiful.
okay. So please do how.
So for me, I would say self-love is showing up for yourself.
Okay.
And as Lillian said, authenticity as well. Also being able to express yourself as you are without needing to add all them ingredients to
Okay.
make yourself a certain way because it's pleasing to another person. It's just being you and loving, using the word again, but expressing yourself as you are.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So Debbie, I believe you have something to say.
Okay. So I believe that love is a verb, and you know that the verb is an action word, right? So love is that strong affection that you have for something or someone that makes you careful and dedicated to that something or someone. So self-love is that conscious effort that you make to care for yourself, to value yourself. It involves recognizing your worth, and respecting yourself, showing yourself that respect. And kindness.
Yeah.
So it also involves knowing when to say no to commitments that drain you, and it also involves acknowledging your achievements, whether little you get, and avoiding self criticism.
Okay. So in summary, we are all saying that we should know our worth, right? Respect yourself, put yourself first and all of that. Okay, so I really appreciate you guys for that. I want to ask just a quick one. Do you love yourself? I know everyone wants to say they love themselves. I understand that
Love
part.
myself.
Okay.
Love myself.
Okay, I get it. So now if you love yourself, just like we've said, can you like share your experience, your self-love journey experience? Yeah. Because I believe people want to know. It's one thing to talk about self-love, but we need to be practical about it. Can we like give, practical example of how we've shown love to ourselves or how we can say we really love ourselves?
So for me, my experience, which I'm honestly just learning right now and rediscovering, is, as I said, self love being expressing yourself and loving yourself as you are, or being courageous enough to express yourself as you are.
Okay.
So since I can remember, I did not like the fact that I was kind and nice. It felt like everybody could trample upon me and things like
Okay.
that. So I made a vow to myself, like, what? I will not be very powerful. I'm going to be like very mean and like the more you look, the less you see type of person. And my dear, it was one of the worst things that could have happened to me because now I feel like I lost my identity. I lost who I was. So if I say that I love myself, I was loving an identity that wasn't me.
You okay?
Do you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So for me, that self love now is just going back to who I was then and say, you know what, peace, as you were good. Okay, maybe you need to learn boundaries and things, but who you are as you are inside. Fantastic.
I love the last thing you said, like, going back to yourself and just maintaining your boundary and not okay. Do you have anything to ask her?
Okay, I
Okay.
have something to say.
Okay.
Um, I think self love also involves taking care of your mind, taking care of both your body and your mind. And I think that journaling helps to give a clear mind. So
100%.
something that I've been practicing more these days is journaling. So I get to
I
write.
second this, by the way. So good.
So I get to write my thoughts, my achievements, no matter how little, and I tend to revisit them. It helps me stay grateful.
Okay. So she's saying journaling is very important. So if you've not been doing that, maybe you should just give that a start.
It's like trying to put others first before my own, like, okay, if I do this now, this person like it before even thinking about me. So at some point I was like, is this how you want to continue living your life? Like putting
Okay.
other people first before you, and they don't even see it, they don't even appreciate it.
That's where it's wrong.
So like I have to appreciate myself, put myself first before any other person. So
100%.
Okay.
and I'm still on the journey actually. Not 100%.
So what we're trying to say is so people don't get misguided. Once you putting other people's first is not bad.
Yeah, that's
But
But
exactly.
when it gets to the extent that
Where-
maybe the people you're putting first is
And
not
not
taking it for
acknowledging
granted,
it,
exactly.
Okay.
so you have to take a step back
Exactly. That's
and
that's
address the whole thing. So let people not say that putting other people first
It's
is
bad.
something that is
it's
wrong.
not
So,
no.
so primarily, it's actually nice to actually put other persons first in some cases, but not at your expense.
Exactly. That's the point.
That's
You
your
get
expenses,
Yeah.
the thing at the
when they
end
don't
of-
appreciate
Yeah.
your own efforts and then you're
Yeah.
seeing it and you're still doing it. No.
Yeah, one ball for you.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I want to appreciate you guys for sharing your experience, and I believe we all are still growing, and we'll get to that stage. Don't think that we've made it. We are still growing. Yeah. I don't know if we have or we know one or two factors that might be a result or a reason why people don't love themselves or feel they don't love themselves.
Let's start with Deborah.
So let's see toxic upbringing and associations.
Okay.
So growing up in an environment or in a family where your parents do not like show this intense care and love for you, can actually affect um one, you get, because you tend not to understand what love is. And if you don't understand what love is, you cannot give that to yourself, because you cannot give
Exactly what
what
you
you
don't
don't have.
have. Yeah.
You get. So that's one. And when I talk about the associations, when you are hanging out with friends who do not care for themselves and who do not like appreciate themselves, it's going to influence you negatively, because um, you can't even do that to yourself. Like, you cannot do that for yourself, because those your friends, they are not doing it for themselves, and you cannot even learn from them. You know that our associations influences us. So if you are not in that association where your friends constantly show you what love is by how they talk to you, by how they dress and everything, you cannot give
Absolutely.
that love
Okay.
and self-care to yourself. And another thing I want to talk on is comparison. I would say that comparison is a state of joy and happiness. So when you constantly compare yourself with someone else's successes, it tends to reduce how you see yourself. You see yourself less. You only see that person, that bigger
That image.
yeah, that bigger picture. And when you are seeing less of yourself, it means you cannot even find yourself to love yourself better. You get. So I think
Yes.
comparison.
So in
and
summary, you're saying that if you don't know how to love yourself, of course you don't know how to tell people to love you.
yeah,
I don't know if you
yes,
get,
yes,
like,
yes.
for people to love you, you should
You
love
should know
yourself first.
yourself and also love yourself, because somebody else cannot love you perfectly when you don't
Love
love
yourself.
You don't even know how to love
So
yourself.
and the idea of environment, helping people to love themselves, I think that should be really something we need to talk about. If you grow up in a home where your parents, you don't see them kind of show love to each other, there are some parents that don't even tell their children nice words. You don't try to hug them, show them this tender love and all. So when that particular child grows up from that home, even if he or she changes location, it will still affect that child. So what we are talking about is factors that affect people from loving themselves. Do you get? So now, if, like you said now, if we look at it, meaning that from family, from home, they need to start tackling it from there. Because if from where you're coming from, your family shows you that love, your friends too, whether they show you or not, you will still love yourself.
Yes,
Do you get?
yes.
So, but when from home you don't get it, when you meet friends, your friends are having same minds. Of course, you keep growing with that kind
You
of
not even believe that self love is a thing.
exactly.
Yes, because you did not get it when you were growing up.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of the way we think, sorry about that,
Yeah.
a lot of the way we think stems from our childhood, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you grow up and you find that you have, that inner voice thing where you talk about, oh, my mind is belittling me, my mind is telling me I'm not good enough, my mind is being harsh to me. It's because that's the way we experience the first experience we had with people around us. So for me, I believe that we take on the way our parents spoke to us. So if you grew up, example, me, I grew up in a place where my parents weren't really the best at using good words. And also it stemmed from their own lack of love when they were children. So they brought that to me and I started hearing all them negative words that you usually tell yourself when you're going about it every day, or you're not good enough, or you're a monster, you're this and that. So I feel like it's very important environment, being around people who help you wire your thoughts to speak positively. Yes, because once that is not there, that self-love we go
It's
hard,
going to be
oh.
difficult, like very
It's gonna
difficult.
be a battle.
Right, so what we're saying, parents out there that are watching, we have children
Like,
that needs tender care.
Yeah.
We've raised children we've raised boys and girls out there in the society that are not giving love, that are not they're not
love
telling themselves that,
to
oh, I'm
themselves,
worth this.
Yes.
Maybe because of the upbringing they have. So the parents that are watching there, learn to show love to your kids, buy them good stuff, tell them, boy, yes, maybe you are
take them
taking
out too. It's
beautiful.
part of showing.
Some of I've been in a situation whereby I've seen parents, because of maybe a poor result,
Yeah. Kiss
and
their kids.
you
Yeah,
tell them they're not
exactly.
worth
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You compare them with
Eh,
Chidi
what-
K,
Yeah.
compare them
Yeah.
with
Exactly.
Chidi
Yeah.
K and Paul. Paul had first, second position.
You-
were
Why
carrying
didn't you
10.
come?
Yes,
And there are
yes.
ways you can encourage that child to do better.
Love.
Other exactly.
So,
other than
Gentle
just
with them.
At that same point, we're not saying having bad results are okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but we try as much as possible to
Encourage them with
our
love.
children. Encourage
Yeah.
our children. Yes, failure is part of life.
Yes. Yeah.
But when you have that sense that, oh, my father still believes I can do better.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that's
Do
everything.
you understand?
That
When your
goes
parents
such a
still
long
believe,
way.
oh yes,
and then from home,
Yes.
if you understand that failure is a thing, like to fail and then to stand up is another thing.
Mhm.
That child, even when that child
Exactly.
grows, you know that at any point you find yourself and you feel like you're failing, you still have that belief that even if you go back home, they will not,
Yeah,
they will still
not
accept you.
abandon
Do you get?
out.
But there's some parents, because of how they've trained their children, and when that child, some people, they don't get to travel home because of lack of love
If
at
you're wondering
home.
why you don't
Sorry,
like
because-
going home.
I want to say something. I want to say something. there.
Because like, when you reach home, my parents,
appreciative environment.
I used to
Yeah.
have
so some of
that,
them will just remain where they are.
Yeah.
I used to have that feeling. My mom is this. I think if my mom is not, my mom should be in an army, the army
God
or
forbid.
Nigerian
Jesus
police
Christ.
force. My mom raised us with this
Iron
very
hand.
strong hand. So my mom is very strict because we are all boys.
Okay,
So
okay.
she was just very strict. I was always afraid because I'm always having problems with her. They're always having issues and everything. So I was, feeling so. Anytime I decide I want to go back home, I'll be very afraid because I know how harsh my mom is and everything. So I think if our parents can cultivate this
Habit of
habit of loving and making your children welcome in their home, it will be very nice for them.
Yeah.
And
There's
always tell them
something
they can
like
do better. Like
Yeah.
always tell them that no matter how you feel, you can also stand up
and
still do better.
Yeah.
It will help them.
okay.
so.
You
Yes, I want to just say one little story. There's
Okay.
something that excuse me that my dad always tells us at home. He always be like, whatever happens, always make sure you have at least enough change to come back home. Like
Hmm.
whatever happens, when
just come back
when
home.
you're out there,
Hmm.
always make sure that you have enough money to come back home, even if it's 100 naira. That your transport money, because he's always going to welcome us. And I can remember when I was small. My dad do learn us of like anytime he wants to okay, let's say we do anything wrong, me and my three brothers, he will offer us we'll just sit in the parlor and he will just sit down in his special seat and he'll tell us what we've done, tell us you're not supposed to do this is how you're supposed to do it. After that, everybody will stand up and line up. We'll bring out his cane and flog all of us. After flogging us, he will now go back and sit down. Then he will now come and start telling us sorry.
Oh my god.
So
Oh,
that's
wow.
I can remember sitting on my dad's laps and he was just like, rubbing my shoulder
Oh.
after flogging me. You get so I think that's one of the things I grew up with, because right now you cannot, I don't know how to put it. You cannot just come and speak harshly to me. If I've done something wrong to you, I expect you to come and
Politely
tell
pass
me,
the
yes, tell me
Yeah.
this is something
That's
that
how
you've done.
boundaries form when
Exactly.
you've experienced that
Yeah.
point. Like
So
Yeah.
so when I do something wrong to you and you start like probably scolding or being so harsh, I don't see it as normal because that's not how I grew up.
Hmm.
Whilst we were saying that our African parenting of being harsh,
It's
to
not totally
children,
bad, but
it's
you need to be
not totally
curtailed.
bad.
Did you get?
I wanted to still draw that line.
Okay.
You understand that African parenting of being very strict to children. I just feel like our parents should actually have that wisdom to know the extent to go.
Yeah.
You understand? When you beat a child with one hand, bring him back there. So I didn't really understand the kind of training my mom actually was giving me at that point. I was not feeling so happy. But afterwards,
Yeah.
I've left the house and I understand that this is why this woman was doing
Doing
it.
like that.
But at that point where I was tender,
It was not
I
making
did not
sense.
understand.
Yes.
It was not making sense. So our parents, while we are still observing the African parenting,
Let's
you
know when
understand.
to.
So we should have that wisdom to
I don't
know
want
how
African
to,
parents,
know how to where to stop. Because African parenting have helped some of us.
Okay.
Yes.
Not
Yes.
because of that kind of thing.
No, she's saying something.
would you say
at that
yourself?
point,
No,
I
let me understand
was
something
not, I
from
was
her.
not really happy at that point. But afterwards, when I've seen that, it's like this is why this woman is doing this kind of thing. You know,
Okay.
when I got to the point where like I was not feeling good about myself, but I come to say, okay, amidst all these things, this is where I stand with myself.
Example.
Do you understand? How would I pose
understand.
this?
Like, what did she do?
The academics
No,
wise.
it's experience.
Let me try and find a scenario.
Okay,
Yeah.
before you, okay,
Okay.
we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
So you are saying something, saying you just don't like the African parenting style.
I think
So
it's harsh.
okay,
I
so
think it's harsh. And I don't know how to explain it fully, but I feel like it drives us to hide.
Hmm.
Right? A lot of us feel like being who we are becomes a taboo because when we express ourselves, we're like told to stop, we're bidden. It's almost like it's forbidden. So we become a shadow of ourselves. A lot of like fractions of ourselves become like hidden and discarded because I know I cannot come here and speak my mind because you can't even look somebody in the eye, things like that, because of all of these things. So me, I don't like it. I want to say, okay, I'm coming out into the world, I'm coming out into reality as who I am, take it or leave it. And I want to know that okay, if I get myself into a mess, instead of hiding, I say, okay, let me
meaning
be a
that you
fraction
don't really
of
know your
myself.
words, you just
Exactly.
hide.
Let me be a fraction of myself because I don't want somebody to beat me or slap me or scold me. Let me know that if I say this thing, I'm saying it with my full chest and I will stand up and if you want to, I will beat you to type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it just creates that hidden self. And a lot of parts of you don't even know.
I think she's making sense.
She's not making sense.
No, she's making sense at some point.
She's not making sense.
Okay. So why is
You know
not?
that a child comes out there from the womb without nothing.
Okay.
You get me?
Okay.
You know, when we sell this idea of letting children be themselves, you know, there's a very big line. We have to very tread carefully not to cross. You know what is happening nowadays? I don't. People say that I'm coming out. I came out as a girl, but I want to be a boy.
Yeah.
You know, there are levels to all these things. You understand? I feel like why we have parents is people to caution us. There are always guidelines to things. You don't let people express themselves the way it should be. I'm not saying you don't talk freely to your parents, creating an environment that is very toxic. What I'm saying that parents are there to guide their children. If you mess up, the rod is there to correct.
You go collect.
That is how it should be. That is how it should be. But what I'm saying,
but while at it, they should give this
have
limit to it.
Exactly. That is what I'm saying. There are always boundaries we need to observe. You don't. I am not a fan of beating a child to stupor, but I'm a fan that if you make mistake, correct that child. If you want to beat him, let him cry. After you buy biscuit and take and eat and come back. But the person should understand that what I did right now is wrong. You know, some of the children we are raising now, when you don't correct them, they tend to think, maybe you say, oh, this thing you did is not good though. You know, it is not really entering. I'm not saying it doesn't.
We were talking about this, upbringing, environment, and all of that. How about relationship? Do you know that if we don't have self-love, we are in a toxic relationship, you will not even know. You won't be like you won't find
you won't
it.
be able
Yes.
to
You get
Yeah.
because you've been in a relationship whereby your happiness is at risk. You are trying to find yourself. And you know one thing about self-love? Self-love, when you love yourself, you create time for yourself. It will help you discover yourself. And when you discover yourself, what will happen? You know how best to treat yourself. But when you've not discovered yourself and you're in a relationship, of course, it will definitely affect you. So if you're talking about childhood,
and they say you're
wrong, you just accept it. Let for peace to reign. Do you get? So let's talk about that aspect too, because some people are battling with it. Some relationship out there, people are having a lot of issues, all in the name of self. Because when you love yourself so well, when a guy is trying to mess around with your happiness, you just put an end to or walk away.
Or when a girl is trying to
okay, yeah. Okay, it's both sides. Yeah, let's go. Okay, yeah. So I don't know. Do you have anything to say about it from that angle?
I'm looking at you.
Why are you looking at me?
The relationship guru.
Okay,
Okay.
bring it on.
All of us should think. Why are you looking at me? You're making your comfort. Something. Let's
Okay.
Mm.
I think it stems. I think it's like a mother wound type of thing. A wound gotten from the mother side.
Okay.
When, how do I explain this? When you're told to put yourself
Okay.
last and put everybody else before you. And I think also it happens mainly with women. I know it happens with men too,
Mm.
but but I think it happens mainly with women when we grow up with this mindset or we're told that everybody else comes before you, right? And so even when you grow up experiencing that with your mother, you see your mother is carrying baby at the back, she's cooking food for her
And the,
husband,
and the husband is
and
just
she has put herself last. She doesn't even. She maybe forgets to shower or something like that. So you just feel like you grow up seeing that, and you just feel like everybody else
It's
has
normal.
to come first, right? Everybody's pain has to come first. So even if your boyfriend is shouting at you, it's like, okay, maybe he is hurting. Let me put my own last. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what I think.
I think she made a lot of sense. Meaning all of these things, being relationship, being with your like friendship and all of that, you still have to do something with our upbringing, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of. So do we have something else to say?
Yeah, can still work on it. It's not the end
Yeah,
of the
no,
world
the
if you
essence
grow
of
up
this
that way.
video is not just for our parents. Do you get? We all are future parents. We are going to be parents one day. So if we're going to get to that stage, if we don't learn these things now, we won't be able to inculcate that into our children.
Are we trying to help people who have the self-esteem and self-love issues as well?
Exactly.
Whether you
So,
want to be a parent or not,
and it's not going to be late. Like you can start today and start loving yourself. You can start today and start putting yourself first. As much as we'll get to that part. We'll get to that part. No, we ladies. There's something we ladies
back
do.
out in self-love. Let me tell you.
No, see, there's something we
One night
ladies do.
because of-
We come online, we'll just you see this bag, it's very beautiful. You screenshot it. This hair is fine. You screenshot it. You keep screenshotting and screenshotting and screenshotting. And you're working so hard. Do you get it? I don't know if I have. So and when you do all of these things, now you're working so hard and you're being paid. Sometimes you take out money from there and do what? And take care of yourself. Honestly. Those things that you crave for, you get them. I'm not saying you should not save. Don't get me wrong. Save, but if you really want to show yourself that love you're talking about, you go out of your way and get things that you really want for yourself. Many of us, we are good at gifting people. We can gift people.
Oh my
When last did you gift yourself? When last did you say?
Though, because even me, I had to sit there and ask myself that question. You see, when I have money like this, everybody else comes to mind. Bro. Oh yeah, peace. Come on, buy something for yourself now. I'm looking. I don't even. It starts with what do I even want? Then before you now say, okay, let me even give myself what I want. So it's like, we have work to do with loving
A lot of work
ourselves,
to
be
do.
honest.
So let's in summary, we've been saying everything, and I believe you guys watching this video, actually understand where we're coming from. And I just want few words, just your advice to
I have
our
a
listeners.
small comment.
Okay.
It hits me that some people are in deep toxic relationship. It's something that is very common in our society. People still staying put in relationship that is not. It's just not good.
Just like the story I just told
that story
earlier.
it shook me. I mean, and some people didn't delve into it.
Nice.
Right.
It's people are experiencing this out there.